Hey everyone, today we're finishing up 2 Peter. We're going to be in chapter 3. Now, just as a reminder, this letter that Peter writes is kind of serving as his farewell letter. Shortly after he wrote this, he was killed. He was martyred for the sake of Jesus. And he wrote this probably between the years of 64 and 67 AD, and then was killed shortly after during the reign of the Emperor Nero. So where we pick up in this chapter 3 is that Peter is reminding Christians of some truths, but reminding them of the truths that the prophecies concerning Jesus foretold, as well as the truth that Jesus himself came and preached and the apostles have passed down. Now, in chapter 3, he writes that scoffers are going to most surely doubt and question the promises of God. He says in verse 4, he writes, "They will say, 'What happened to the promise that Jesus is coming again? From before the times of our ancestors, everything has remained the same since the world was first created.'" So basically, what in a sense he's saying is that people are saying that God, why is it taking so long for Jesus to come back again? Why is this taking so long? It seems like nothing has changed since the beginning of time. They're saying, when is this going to happen? And Peter responds and says in verse 8, he says, "But you must not forget this one thing, dear friends. A day is like 1,000 years to the Lord, and 1,000 years is like a day. The Lord isn't really being slow about his promise, as some people think. No, he is being patient for your sake. He does not want anyone to be destroyed, but wants everyone to repent." Now, in this verse, in what he's saying here, he's actually quoting a psalm, and we're going to read that psalm together. It's Psalm 90, verse 4. And in it, it says, "For you, 1,000 years are as a passing day, as brief as a few night hours." So basically what he's saying, and what the psalmist is saying here too, is that God is not bound by our human understanding of time. His understanding of time is far different from ours. So time can't be judged in God's whole timeline, timetable. Time can't be judged. And second, in waiting to bring about these last days and waiting for Jesus to come back again, God is showing his great compassion. He is being patient because he doesn't want anyone to die without knowing him. He says he wants to give everyone enough time to come to him, because that's his desire, is that more people would repent and come to know him. And so in this time, it is not with a lack of purpose. It is so that more people can come to know him. Now, there will come a time for judgment, but there is no use in just waiting around for that day, because as Peter goes on to say, and we've read in different books and different writings, it says the end of times is going to come like a thief of the night. No one is going to expect it. No one's going to know when it's going to happen except for God the Father. And Peter reminds us of what we are called to do, how we're called to live in this in-between time. And in verse 11, he writes this: "Since everything around us is going to be destroyed like this, what holy and godly lives you should live, looking forward to the day of God and hurrying it along. On that day, he will set the heavens on fire and the elements will melt away in the flames. But we are looking forward to the new heavens and new earth he has promised, a world filled with God's righteousness." So yes, there is going to come a day when this earth will pass away and a new earth will await us. And yes, we need to look forward with great and heavy anticipation and expectation for that day. But he says until then, we need to live godly lives. We need to live holy lives. And what are we reminded both in this letter that Peter writes and in all other parts of the Bible is that when we live a godly life and a holy life, a set apart life, is that is when our lives are defined by love, a love for God and a love for others. And so, though with each passing day, we are getting closer to the day of Jesus's return, there is purpose in each passing day until then. And so we need to let our lives be defined by love, and living lives that just bring God glory above all else. And there's so much purpose in that. Grace and peace to you today. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.
If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.